online. I am your host, Shane. I, of course, am on the road today. And I just wanted to do kind of a follow-up video from yesterday's video where we talked about some of the things that maybe not so visible with the tariffs and really how that is going to strengthen Bitcoin. And we touched on the monetary system and how the US dollar right now is very strong. So, from that point, let's move forward. How is the tariffs a smokescreen? Okay, because I don't want to be super clickbaity, but it is part of the topic that I think needs to be discussed. Um, I'm not saying that I believe the tariffs are going to be great or that I even agree with that. I believe in free trade. I think this is an attempt to create free trade. But as I stated yesterday, some of the hot points we won't dig into deeply, but this is a multi level plan with politicians, Trump included. They give you a narrative that's kind of like a bouncing ball they want you to keep your eye on, but there's always underlying things that seem to be the real agenda that they don't go out and say right away or out boldly, but they do usually say things that give you hints. So let's kind of talk about that. So, yesterday, we're not going to go in depth, but some of the things that we talked about that we can see are more than just tariffs, more than just a trade deficit. For one, those numbers are being called tariffs, but it seems like they're really including a trade deficit. Well, there's no way the U.S. is ever going to sell as much to a tiny country as a tiny country is going to sell to us. So we know it's more than that. We know that Trump has stated he wants to get companies to come to America. So that's one of the things he said. So that's what he wants to do. He's wanted to strengthen the strategic materials for the United States. We're vulnerable, right? So that's something he stated. That's something what the tariffs are designed to do. Um, Bringing jobs back to America. That's something he stated. That's something tariffs are starting to do. We have over 70 companies wanting to negotiate with the United States. 50 in particular are negotiating fairly well right now. So that's something else we touched on. The other thing is China, right? They are a looming threat to the United States uh, with their strength behind the the gold token that they're making with Russia. I think it's not BRICS, but whatever it is, that new money that they're trying to create, which is mostly gold backed. Now, if you go back to my video, I have a video that says something like they're going to throw their gold into the streets. That goes back quite a ways. I said that a long time ago, and I talk about how that could happen. And we're already seeing the United States saying that they want to throw some of their gold into the street or sell it. Cynthia Loomis's bill to buy Bitcoin is selling old gold certificates. These are paper certificates backed by 1970 prices when gold was 40 something dollars an ounce. So the smokescreen, we see that uh, it is about trade somewhat. It is about getting our deficit down. It's about getting American jobs. It's about strategic materials. And it's also a lot about um, kind of keeping China at bay. So if you want to find out about the history of the monetary system, Mark Moss is a great video to go check. And he just had a video like yesterday or the day before where he reiterates a talking point that he's had for a long time, that the monetary system changes every so often. And China missed out about 150 years ago when major countries like America and the European, some of those countries, England and such, changed from a silver gold standard to mostly just a gold standard. And silver lost a lot of money, and China was a loser on that deal. And they've been trying to catch up ever since. They've been trying to create their own currency with the Russia and India in that, I think it's a BRICS, token that they're making, or currency that they're trying to make. Well, Trump has said, now we're listening to what they say, that cannot happen. They cannot be the lead currency. So this is the smokescreen. I think these tariffs also are a real smokescreen for what's happening with, or what's going to happen with, the monetary system, which whoever controls it is going to be the powerful nation in the forefront. So let's look at a couple other things that we maybe didn't delve in yesterday too much. The US dollar is strong right now. Eggs and gas are at a good price. And China is selling. It is mostly China that is dropping our market. They're selling our bonds, and they're selling they're getting out of our currency, and they're selling stocks. They have a lot. They've invested a lot because their currency is weak. We did talk about this yesterday. The thing is they don't have anything else to invest in. They've bought all kinds of gold. They have tons and tons and tons of gold, and that is how they've tried to build their currency. Well, as the America is looking to get out of gold and into Bitcoin, China is giving up their Bitcoin and getting into gold. So the the smokescreen is hiding this fact, and China's currency is going to continue to devalue because they're getting out of US currency, they're getting out of our stock market, and when all this gets settled and we get this U or V-shaped recovery that I think will happen if everything works out all right and this doesn't turn into some sort of a war. I think it's weakening China and their ability to fight. I think a lot of things are happening in the world. It's weakening a lot of America's potential adversaries and setting us up to be the winner. If we can get some of these crypto bills passed and start investing in Bitcoin, this is going to strengthen the country, help with the deficit, and maybe we'll even lean toward a Bitcoin-backed U.S. dollar. Who knows? That's pure speculation. But I think the smokescreen is that also this is about changing the monetary system to the advantage of the United States to have Bitcoin, and to really, China will be missing out. They've banned Bitcoin over and over again, and now U.S. wants to be the number one place where it is mined. You have so many Chinese countries that are actually moving into Texas to mine their Bitcoin. So this narrative is something you need to keep an eye out on. How long will this tariff chaos continue? It could be weeks and weeks. It could be months and months. But like we stated yesterday with the midterm elections for Senate and Congress, as important as that is, you can be sure that um, the administration will want to have the political, economic, financial climate looking in a positive direction at that time so that they can say, look what we did, we made everything better, we have all these jobs, we have all these countries, our deficit's going down, everything's great, see, I told you I knew what I was doing. Well, you know, and then these countries are going to get deals and stuff because this whole, negative trading agreement and tariffs is really a very weird narrative when you think about it, because there's just no way the U.S. is ever going to um, not have a deficit with some countries, because we just, you know, they're not going to be able to buy as much stuff from us as we buy from them. If let's say Miramar, right, they produce jade, uh, they're never, they're never going to buy as much stuff from us. They grow, they probably grow a lot of their own food. They probably buy stuff locally closer to where they're at there and near Asia. They're never going to buy a bunch of US stuff. They dig the stuff out by hand, pretty much, so they're not going to be buying all kinds of tools and stuff like that from the US. It's going to be a deficit. The amount of money that they make from their jade is going to be a lot more. So, there's no way to solve that. So, by saying that you're going to make it even everywhere no matter what, eh, that's a narrative that is just, it's a smokescreen, I think, for the whole overall agenda. um, so anyway, that's what I think. I think that whether we hit a recession or not, I know that, again, like yesterday we stated, the other thing Trump wants to happen is for the interest rates to go way down, because that'll put a boost into real estate, businesses borrowing money for expansion, and that'll be great for Bitcoin too. So I think all these things are on the horizon between now and maybe June or so. So just um, keep an eye on that and think about, in the past, how politicians never really quite tell us what they're up to, but they do give us clues. Take a look at that, see what you think, let me know what you think. Have a great day. That's all I got for you. Goodbye.